Greetings, Talvar, and welcome to an episode from Puretide Program, and I'm going to be bringing some awesome content your way over the next couple of weeks. So I have been absent over the last 30 days or so, because I've been busy playing, well, more Warhammer. I have been at the London Grand Tournament, the largest event in the world. I have then followed it up with attending the LVO in October, again, a large event in the world. Then I even went to the Paris Super Major, and then I ended doing an 8-round event in Coventry. So I've been very, very busy. So apologies for my absence, but I'm going to have lots of content coming your way. And I've already got exciting content that's already released on demand over in the Puretide program. So without further ado, just to highlight the next couple of videos that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing a small recap on the tournament performance that I've done recently. I've had some really good success, finishing in the shadow round of LGT, which I did a video with Will B, which you can check out already on the channel. And I'm going to be doing some recap for the other events like the LVO, which I also did very well. Ended up getting into the shadow round back-to-back, straight from LGT into LVO, which has been a hell of a performance. And I was really proud of that. Something that I wasn't really kind of going for, but it ended up just happening, I suppose. And then I continued that success in the Paris Super Major and ended up making the top 8, which there is a little bit of a placing issues on BCP, so you aren't able to see the final placings, but just to let you guys know, I ended up finishing 5th. The BCP submission wasn't able to be done as of yet, simply because of the Amazon going down, and BCP are working on a fix for this event to get it submitted. But obviously it's missed the cutoff for the IT season just gone. But I won a golden ticket. So I'll be at the Warhammer Championships of World Championships of Warhammer next year, 2026. So I'm really stoked for that. So some fantastic events from me, some real consistent performance with my retaliation cadre, and I've got some different lists that I was using, and I'm going to be doing a video on kind of creating consistency in your performance and kind of having a deep dive view of some of the things that I did to prepare, some of the things that I was doing throughout, and this is going to be a separate video that I'm going to be creating over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for more on that one. So we're here today to talk about the World Championships of Warhammer, and I'm going to do it slightly differently. Rather than doing one long video that kind of like lists all of the components of every single player's list and the detachments that they played and the pairings that they had, it would just be a video that's like over an hour. And I wanted to give you some bite-sized videos that you can digest, detachment by detachment, and we're going to go through those lists of the armies that they beat, the armies that they lost against, but it's going to be for every detachment. So it's going to hopefully be no longer than like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that kind of thing per video. And you'll be able to kind of watch these when you're on your lunch break or when you've got a bit of time, so a little bit more manageable. And this is some feedback that I've had from customers that they'd like shorter videos so that they can easily digest it when they have time. So here we are. Now, the great thing is the Warhammer Championships had all of our detachments present and with some phenomenal Tau Generals out there that I want to highlight. So this video is going to be highlighting their lists and what they took. So let's get straight into it. Today we're going to start with Kauyon, and what we have is 2 players to mention. We have, let me just load this up, roster. So a little bit about the event, champions from all around the world. Every single one of these people that have attended have obtained a golden ticket somewhere along their journey over the ITC season. So it is a combination of top players, winners from all around the world, battling it out for the overall champion. Now, the 2 players were Glynisir with his Kauyon. He's been doing phenomenal. He's been putting out some phenomenal performances over this season, and he ended up taking his good old tried and tested Kauyon with a couple of tweaks for this event. Now, Durante has taken a Cadre Fireblade with 2 gun drones, Commander Shadowsun, a Breach team, and a Delfish. A Kroot Carnivore squad for sticky objectives, a 2-man Krutox Rider unit, a Pathfinder team with the Recon drone, with obviously all the extras like the iron rifles, the gun drones, etc., etc., and a second Pathfinder team, which is a new addition for Durante. Usually he just has one, but he's given this unit an additional recon drone as well, which means you're going to have two Pathfinder teams that can play the infiltration war. And having talking to Glyn a little bit before this submission, his reasoning was they'd like to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the infiltration war, so that he can use his Ghost Keel and maybe Shadow Stone aggressively should he need to. And I can understand why he's done that. There was talks of whether you do the -2 to charge drone and 1 recon, but he went with double recon just to see how it would perform. And clearly it's performed quite well for him. Then 2 single piranhas. Nice little 60-point training pieces, scout move 9, get into awkward positions, can help down some low transports, battle shock tests, so it's got a lot of utility from these 2 little pieces. Then we've got the 3 Iron Riptides that need our introduction, with them big buffs that they've received from the slate, being going up to, well, strength 10 when overcharged, means that they can actually play more of a diverse role, not just being elite hunters. They can actually hunt down tanks and provide additional fire support downing some big targets. Speaking of which, he's going to back that up with a single Ghost Keel, great in Kauyon for obviously Wall of Mirrors, and just to be that kind of durable body that can kind of blank 2 saves, 2 up armor, stealth, lone up, and forces the opponent to have to engage with the rest of his army. Then you've got a Railgun Hammerhead with the smart missiles, the Seekers, and a Skyray gunship. So you've got 2 forms of anti-tank, 1 Railgun, 1 Skyray. Then with the Riptides, they've actually got some secret kind of like combinations that could do there with some stratagems like Coordinate to Engage. A Skyray and a Riptide with Coordinate to Engage can be self-sufficient and go down a target. And then a Railgun Hammerhead with the other Riptides can down another, so you can start to see how this list can be used to down durable tanks and stuff like that. Then you've got 2 stealth suits and a Vespid team. So not that dissimilar to his previous list, but obviously what he's done is he's dropped the second Skyray that he used to have and put in an extra Pathfinder team and added a Cadre Fireblade. So what he's done here is quite a clever little tech piece. He's just given that extra bit of quantity to his Breacher team so that when he does use the unit to go out aggressively and attack, it's going to have more quantity. It's going to help into those matchups like, say, Admech, World Eaters, whatever. It's just extra damage, and especially combined with a couple of stratagems that they can use, like the +1 to wound, if it happens to be turn 3 onwards, like the trap objective. Suddenly those Breachers re-rolling wounds, +1 to wound, can stack up. And then the other thing that you could potentially do is if it is turn 3 onwards, because you've got plenty of little trading pieces like the Piranhas, the Krutox Riders, the Crew, the Pathfinders that can delay and use those Breachers to when it's the most efficient way of dealing damage, you could also do the extra AP within 9 inches from turn 3 onwards. So this little bomb that he got with the Cadre Fireblade, Breacher, and Devilfish gives them that one play to either be hyper-aggressive and do maximum damage, and then with sustained as well, you can start to see that how that can work. On top of that, failing that, he's still got a piece that can just yeet, deny primary, attack, and then delay the opponent for the rest of his force to get into position. So, really good list, very balanced, and a phenomenal general to back it up. Now, Glyn, I've got the stats in terms of the overall breakdown of Kauyon, but I just wanted to briefly go through his pairings. So, give me a second. So, Glyn finished 32nd, putting up a very respectable performance of 6-2. Remember that this is the World Championships. Every single person is at the top of their game. So going 6-2 at an event like this is the equivalent of going like 8-0 at another major. It's crazy. So that I've been to WCW before, and trust me, the caliber of player is phenomenal. So you've got to factor that in. Don't just look at win record. Look at like the extra details of the fact that every single person here is a champion in their own right. Now, pairings. Of course, it makes me do it again. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to put Boz. So, solid win into Grey Knights. versus Ricardo. He's going against Grey Knights. That's an 86-75, so it's still a close game. So straight off the bat, Kauyon versus Grey Knights is usually a good matchup, but obviously this person proving that he can use his Grey Knights to the maximum efficiency possible and has kept the game within 11 points. And if you look at WTC scoring, that's like, and just short of it's a 12-8, so it's still super close. I will be using phrases like the WTC scoring because this is something that quite a lot of us will be used to. If you're not, it's a separate metric in terms of how much you win by, scores you an amount of points based on 20-0 system. So have a look into it, but obviously that's not the key thing of this episode, so I'm just going to keep it straight to the point. So beating Grey Knights, and then solidly beat Demons, 92-50. And then if you kind of have a look at this list, so you're going to have it's your Demonic Incursion, Index Demons, Bellicor, Lone Op 18, Great Unclean One, Lord of Change, Rotigus, Scarbrand, all the big demons, Plague Bearers, Beasts of Nurgle, Flamers, Soul Grinder. So big on the chunk, less on the utility pieces. So I imagine this game was simply down to the fact that if I clear what little scoring pieces you have, then I'm going to be in a dominant position when it comes to the scoring mechanic of the game. Hence why there's a big differential there of the, was it 100? 92-50. The big stuff is hard to kill, and with Bellicor's Lone Op 18 causes some problems for Durante to figure out, but genuinely speaking, he's got lots of trading pieces, lots of scoring pieces, so it doesn't shock me that he's pulled out the big win here. If we just to go back to the round one, just to have a look at the Grey Knights list for context, is that I honestly, Brotherhood Strike Force, I have not gone against it, but it's 10 Paladins. Okay, so, Brotherhood, Librarian, Castellan Crow, Grandmaster Dreadnought, Strike Squad, Razorback, Inceptor, Nemesis Dreadnought, Purifier, Navigator. So no deep strike within 12. Again, I think that the Warpbane is the more popular detachment that the Grey Knight players are taking, but I can see how with the uppy-downy stuff this can cause a problem. So hence why the game has been very close. Because, again, Grey Knights can uppy-downy. If Grey Knights end up going second, at the end of your turn one, they can uppy-downy and they can actually alpha strike. So Durante's screening must have been on point, hence why it's close, but it still pulled out the win here. So if we go into round three, Glyn won against Chaos Knights, 94-53, and that's versus a very good player, Ratnu. And Ratnu's from the UK. He's been currently killing it. Did very, very well at LGT, did very well at Coventry. So honestly, this guy knows how to play 40k, and I've had the luxury of playing Ratnu in his earlier days, and he's come a long way since then. So he's gone with the Infernal Lance, Cerastus Atropos, Night Despoiler, War Dog Carnivore ×3, Beast of Nurgle ×3, singular, Nurglings, Plague Bearers. So your typical Chaos Infernal Lance, it's got scoring, it's got big stuff, but again, inevitably, Bozzini is able to pull out the win here because he's got more scoring, and then obviously if he just delays the CK enough, then the Sustain Hits 2 is going to go, Sustain Hits 1 is going to go off, and clearly that's gotten him a solid win, 94-53. But again, Ratnu is one hell of a player, so I'm sure you had a great game against Ratnu. Then we go into round four. He unfortunately loses to the God King himself, Liam VSL. Now, Liam VSL needs no introduction. He has won LGT back-to-back for the last 3 years, and even more than the 30-0, he actually played the Invitationals 2 years prior to this year just gone, and technically is 44-0. That's one hell of a record, so Eldari is quite a bad matchup for Tau, realistically, because of lots of the Farron fading shenanigans. They're not trading, they're doing extreme damage. The Warp Spiders, etc., the Fire Dragons got lots of profiles that are great. And unfortunately, Liam VSL has got the big win versus Durante. So knocking Durante out of the championship potential. But still, that would have been a great game to watch. And I'm sure Durante's got a lot to talk about this game. And I'm sure you can check out his own Twitch channel. And I'm sure he'll be doing some sort of YouTube content on it as well. So please check it out. I'm sure he'll be discussing this in great depth. Then we've got round 5. It goes against World Eaters. a 77-36. I imagine it's going to be a standard World Eaters Berserker Warband. Yep, so Khan, Demon, Prince of Khorne, Master Executioner, Slaughterbound, Berserks, 8-bound, Exalted, 8-bound times 3, Jackals, Forge Fiend, Rhino. So a little bit more on the shooting with the Forge Fiends and a little bit more on the Exalted 8-bound, which obviously Tau don't struggle into because, like I said, flat 4 damage, etc. is really, really good. So I can understand why that was a good victory for Glyn. And then we're going to have round 6 beats Eldari this time. So clearly learning from the game versus none other than BSL and applying what he's learned into this one, allowing him to win 67-56. And then we have another loss from Necrons. Now the Necron list is the Obsidian Phalanx. Annihilation Barge, Annihilation Kinetic Reanimators, Spiders, Doomsday Ark, Locust Heavy Destroyers, Lich Guard. Wow, okay, cool. So I don't actually have a lot of experience into the Obsidian Phalanx, so maybe you Necron nerds that may be listening to this could tell me a little bit why, and maybe Durante has got some insight into this in terms of why he lost that game, but I can definitely see straight away it's a 4-up stat check, it's got reanimations, it's got enough chunk to actually wade through the amount of firepower that comes from Riptides, Hammerheads, Skyrays because of the invulns. So I can understand a little bit about why that would be a struggle, but it's still quite a close game. So that's Durante's second loss. And then finally, going into round 8, he beats Necrons again, probably learning from the previous game. But this one's your Star Shatter Arsenal, so it'll have the typical Silent King characters, Doomsday Arcs ×3, Tomb Blaze. So Triarch Stalker. So a little bit of Scout Weaving the Triarch Stalker, some Doomsday Arcs, some Wraiths, but you can kind of pretty much ignore them. Silent King, but he's got the right damage into this, so I can understand why he beat Scotty in that final round. So Glyn, 6-2, and losing and winning against Eldari and Necrons, so it's kind of like balancing out, showing like evolution throughout, learning on the fly. But well done, buddy, and well done on your performance. So then we have the next person. So Salazar, I think Steven Salazar. Let me just make sure I've got that there. Okay. So placings, let me just double check. So Steven finished 109th with 4 wins and 4 losses. Opponent's win percentage of 55%, so more than half of his opponents or thereabouts winning their games. And then in terms of his list, it's exactly the same as Durante's. So it's the exact same list. There's carbon copy, whether they talk to each other or whether they inspired each other, I don't know, but it's exactly a carbon copy, I believe. Yeah, pretty much carbon copy. So in terms of his pairings, so round 1, Steven goes against Eldari, winning 87-71. And it's a typical aspect host, Azaman, Autark, Fuegan, Janezar, Lycus, Solitaire. Corsairs, Storm Guardians, Wave Serpent, Falcon, Fire Dragons, Howling Banshees, Rangers, Scorpions, Swooping Hawks, Water Spiders. So an impressive win, Steven, to be honest with you, because that list on paper does beat Tau. It has a problem for us to deal with, and so hats off to you for pulling that victory. And I think your SMS and the way that you played it must have pulled you through there. So hats off to you and well done on that round 1 win. I know you'll have been nervous going into that because it is quite a volatile matchup. Then going into round 2, you're going against Space Marines. You win 71-62, and it's Shadowmark. So your typical Hunter's Instinct, Rapid Ingress turn 1, Ethan Sean, Lone Art, blah, blah, blah. You can ignore the modifiers. With Kauyon from turn 3 onwards, you've got the Sustained, you've got the Trading Pieces, so I can see how you were able to block them out, give them unoptimal engagement ranges because they've gone down the route of 6 3 Dev Cent Centurions. You've got the Inceptor Squads, which are a bit of a pain in the backside, the 6-man and 2 3-mans with Bolters, and then you've got your Vanguard Vets as well. So well done on pulling that one. It is quite a boogeyman on the meta right now, the Shadowmark Marines. So again, an impressive start, buddy. 2-0, and you've not had an easy pairing straight away. You're going Eldar straight into Shadowmark, so hats off to you. Round 3, you go to another boogeyman, so your pairings are obscene, then straight into Admech. Now, Admech is a very, very, very good predator into Tau because they're just cheap enough and they outtrade you, and the fact that it's Halo Screed Battle Clade makes more sense because they'll have all the usual trading pieces, the Iron Strider Ballistas ×2, so you got 2 units of 3, las cannons, Sky Stalkers for firing and fading, infiltrators, 10-man infiltrators, 5-man infiltrators, 10-man rust stalkers, 10-man rust stalkers, 5-man rust stalkers, dragoons with tasers, dragoon with tasers. So, oh my god, that's a lot of chickens, a lot of combat ones, and with the fact that it's Halo Screed means that they gain additional movement and benefits from their chart. I can see why this was a rough matchup, and sadly that's your first loss. So I acknowledge that you've had a rough 3 pairings from the back. Eldar, then into Shadowmark, then into Admech. Let's look into your round 4. Your round 4, you pull it back and you go against another Space Marine player. I imagine, oh look, it's Shadowmark again. Pretty much the same list. I would imagine JPIs, Sent Devs, only 1 unit of Sent Devs of 6. Desolation Squad, Inceptor. So practically the same list with a few different takes with a Storm Speed, a Hammer Strike, but you managed to pull out the 90-72 win. So again, your pairings are brutal, buddy. So I even though I already showed you massive respect by reviewing your list and looking at like how you play, I respect you even more, buddy. This pairings is crazy. And then you go into round 5. You go against a Tau Mirror. God, does it? My God, do you even have a break? Apparently not. But you do pull out another win. 72-62 versus Roger Boyero, which I will be reviewing his list as well. So it's your traditional Patient Hunter versus the Killing Blow. So Kauyon versus Montcar. Not going to go too much into the list because I'm going to be reviewing his list separately anyway. But it's your Montcar Goodness, Breach Teams, Hammerheads, Ghost Skills, Riptides, I assume. Yeah. So, again, a good win there. You must be like, please, for the love of God, give me a break. And then you go into Chaos Space Marines, and they're running Fabulous or Renegade Raiders, so a very popular one. So it's got Chosen, just the advancing and the interlocking maneuvers, essentially. Advancing and charging, loads of stuff. Noise Marines, Raptors, Predator Annihilator ×2, Vindicator, Rhinos, Raptors. I wonder if there's Warp Talons in there. So 10-man Chosen to go with Fabulous Bill, 5 Chosen, Legionnaires, Cultists, so there's so much stuff. And a Lord Discordant on a Hellstalker as well. And Cypher for CP manipulation. So I can understand why that's quite a difficult matchup for you. And sadly, that is another rough pairing, but you still kept it somewhat close, but it was none other than another loss. Then going into round 7, you go into... Okay. All right, buddy. I'm feeling your pain. I'm just sat at a desk here in the UK. You go into another Tau Mirror, and you're up against none other than Tony Barrett, and he's a phenomenal Montcar player. And so it's Kauyon versus Montcar again, and obviously Tony Barrett is an expert at using his faction, and it's resulted in a crushing loss. But I imagine when I look at this score, I think, did that Montcar player, aka Tony, did you get first defender roll off and go first? Because that has that written all over it. So, another Tau Mirror, and unfortunately it looks like Montcar have gone first and absolutely full sent into you. And then finally, let's just see if you're given a nice pairing for round 8. Oh, no, not at all. You're going into none other than Jeremy from StatCheck, Team Canada, and he's running Admech. This one, though, hats off to you, mate. You kept it close, 75-77. So, oh, look, Halo Screed again. Some characters. I can see where this is going. So you got Manipuluses ×2. I don't know what that Sidonian Skatros is, but I know where it's going with the Manipulus. Rangers, Dune Rider, Ballistari. Yeah, Breaches and Destroyers. They are disgusting in Halo Screed. Having them have crits on 5s and stuff is just, it can point, click, delete stuff. So I can understand why that's difficult. Skystalkers, Infiltrators, Rustalkers. So really leaning into, obviously, the Iron Ballistari with the las cannons, and then obviously got the 2 bricks of 1 brick of breaches and 1 of Catapult destroyers with the plasmas and the flamers, and the other one with a heavy arc rifle with the strats that they can do with Oath, with Belisarius Call. Yeah, that's a rough matchup, and I played that personally as well, and I can definitely put testament to the fact that it's brutal. Wow. Okay, so buddy, I honestly, like I've said 100 times over on this video, you've had probably one of the strongest, like, difficult pairings of this event. So please, please, please be proud of your performance, because you've not had an easy run. And if I look at your placing again, just to see your opponent's win percentage, yeah, 55%. So, okay. Right then. So in terms of, just as a quick summary, I've got a little bit over on my time allocated, but that's fine. I think you can forgive me by 5 minutes. So Kauyon, we had, let me just calculate this, 5, 10. Yeah, we had 16 games played from 2 amazing generals. We have 10 wins, 6 losses, and Kauyon rounds out to 62.5% win rate. And if you look very quickly at, I don't think these, where is it? Let's see. I'm not too sure if these are updated after WCW, but if you look at Kaion's current trajectory on the Hutba stats from the 18th to the 25th of September, present, you've got Kauyon at 56% win rate. So this is an increase in where we were already at. So well done, boys, for pushing past the curve. And I'm proud of you, and well done for your performances. Right, guys, so that concludes the Kauyon detachment of WCW, and I hope you found this really useful. I will put the links, I say the list links, it's the one link, but obviously both players are running it, in the description below. And if you are really interested in finding out more, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. I want to hear from you. Put it in the comments, help the YouTube algorithm. And then if you're interested in joining the Puretide Program, links in below on the description. We do some fantastic stuff, and I've been reviewing a lot of the things that I've been doing at events and stuff. So if you want to improve your Tau game plan and your tactics and improve yourself as a player, you know what to do. You don't even have to pay money if you want to just join the actual Discord itself. You have to go through WOP, link your WOP account, takes you to the Shas'ui thing. And if you are interested in upping your game plan, you've got the Pathfinder, Shas'ui, and Shas'el to choose from. And if there's any questions, you can always DM me or comment below, and I will take the time out to respond. But thank you very much for watching. I'll get the next video out over the next couple of days, which will be Montcar. So take care. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now.